Welcome back to The Big Picture. As we navigate through these challenging times, many of you are faced with limited or no employment at all. But this could be an opportunity to set a new course on a new career. Our John DeShulo caught up with training consultant Dale Martin, who has some really good advice.
So Dale Martin from Western New York at Work. We're in a very interesting time now, and as someone who's involved with the business community, what advice would you give to people who are out there who are displaced from their jobs or could potentially be displaced from their jobs? They shouldn't look at this maybe as a negative, but as an opportunity.
I think one of the first things that individuals need to do is try to overcome the fear and uncertainty that currently exists in today's marketplace. Start to give thought to the fact that you're not alone. You're not by yourself. We're all in this together. And together, we can start to have the conversation of how to get on the other side of this.
Now, tell us about Western New York at Work. It's a program that airs here on WBBZ. And what do you bring to the table with that program?
Western New York at Work is a company that I started back in 2010. And it really mirrors what was happening back in the 2010 timeframe in terms of coming out of a recession. Today we are revisiting that same climate, that same transition of being in a recession to helping our community rethink and reinvent themselves. I often refer to the 3 R's: rethink, re-engineer, and redeploy. And so Western New York at Work will bring to the table how to get individuals to digest and understand and reinvent themselves.
So with that, and you're an individual that's very motivated, you're very disciplined, you're creative, you need to, I would think, impart that to others who might feel like, well, I've been in this job forever and I need to get out of it. But how do they become as motivated as you are to follow those 3 R's?
I'm going to go back to that first comment I made about getting over the fear and the uncertainty, and you're not alone. That being said, I think it's important that you start to drink your own Kool-Aid. Start to subscribe to news and information that's more positive. Move away from the naysayers and start to rethink about if you could do anything different today with yourself, what would that look like? If you could create your ideal job, what would that be? And as you start to answer those questions, I think certain questions will drive you in the direction in which you're trying to go to.
What are you hearing out in the workforce now from the people that you know, whether they be friends or professional associates, about what's happening with the economy based on this new norm?
I think it's a very broad perspective in the marketplace, both from an employer's as well as employee standpoint. There's a huge need to work from home. In order to work from home, you're going to require the technology. In addition to that, if you're going to work from home, how do you remain productive from the employer's standpoint? And so I think that what we're seeing is companies are asking themselves, how do I not only reduce but remain productive? From an employee standpoint, how do I remain marketable in the marketplace? How do I interview moving forward? Do I try to set up a traditional interview, or should I be looking more towards a virtual type of interview?
Well, you bring up an interesting point, because technology is really being used in ways that we never thought that we would use it for. I'm a bit of a digital dunce, but I'm trying to sign up for Zoom and trying to figure this out. Everybody should take a lesson during this time to really catch up.
I couldn't agree with you more. Technology, whether you're looking at Zoom or GoToMeeting or Skype, it's going to become the new norm. I mean, if I were an investor, my pockets would probably be a little bit more than what it is today. But that being said, I think that the average person, as well as our students in college, are going to start to embrace technology even more and more moving forward. I think we're going to start to become more health conscientious. COVID-19 is going to change the way we interact with one another. I think we're going to be more inclined to respect personal space. Social distancing is going to be with us for quite a while. So I see a lot of positive signs moving forward as it relates to our human interaction with one another.
Right. Talk to me about opportunities in the medical field, because there are a lot of brave people right now who are in there, and whereas before people may have gone into the medical field for different reasons, but I would think that field, home care aides, and those are where people are needed the most.
Absolutely. The demand in the healthcare field is just going to skyrocket. Whether you are a physician or a home care worker, excuse me, there will be a huge demand in that particular area. College students will now have an opportunity to project their future. If you're thinking about going into healthcare, you can almost gauge what the outcome is going to be. If you're a high school student and you're thinking about going to college, not necessarily having the requirement to get a degree, but maybe it will be some technical training in healthcare. If you are a data analytics analyst, there will be a huge demand for healthcare systems to understand how to interpret that information. So across the board, just an enormous demand.
And I'm old enough to have remembered when Bethlehem Steel closed. You're not old enough to remember that, but at that time, a lot of people who were blue collar needed to retrain themselves, not only for more manufacturing work as it came along, but also for technology back in that time. So people needed to retrain. That was the real big word at that time. So I would think someone who's older would also have to take the same principles you just identified for a college and a high school student and not feel intimidated. They should look forward, that just because they're a little older doesn't mean they're done.
I agree with you. There is a digital divide out there in terms of the older worker versus the millennials. I think the older mature worker are going to be more acceptable in the marketplace because, again, they've had to reinvent themselves. I think that older mature worker that goes and approaches, whether it be a Bryan and Stratton or Above State College or any one of our local colleges or universities, are going to be more acceptable because both sides of those individuals on the table are going to recognize the climate that we live in, and it's important that together we move our community forward.
And as a community, we do that really well here in Western New York. I think because of the weather, it brings us together on so many other levels. This is another way to do that. How can people reach you, Dale?
You can contact me directly. My telephone number is 716-563-0238. Again, I'll repeat that number once again, 716-563-0238. Also, we're Western New York at Work. We're on social media, so you can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And last but not least, I would also just like to emphasize the partnership, because that's what Western New York at Work is about. We have a signature event that we do every year called Partners with a Shared Vision. And we take that vision statement and we take it to the marketplace because that's what we believe in. We believe in establishing partners and partners with a shared vision.
Good luck to you, Dale. We'll get through this together.
We welcome Dale Martin to the WBBZ-TV family with his Western New York at Work program, airing Saturday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Now, thanks for watching The Big Picture, and thanks for watching WBBZ-TV. As always, we'll see you next time.